this video, I'm going to show you how to make a loop and a wrap loop suitable for finishing off earrings or other jewellery designs. They work really well in drops, in charm bracelets, any kind of thing where you're going to need to make a bead with a little drop down. They're a really useful technique. In this video, I'm going to be showing it to you with a left-handed technique to help out those left-handed beaders out there. So to begin with, we're going to practice with a piece of wire, and you're going to need round nose pliers, flat nose or needle nose or chain nose pliers, and some flush cutters. So we're going to begin by gripping our wire about 1/3 of the way down the pliers, and the length that where you grip these pliers depends, or the wire depends on how big your loop is going to be. So to start with, about 1/3 of the way down is suitable, and you need about 1 inch or 2 centimetres of wire on top to work with. So you're going to begin by gripping the wires nice and tightly, bending those pliers away from you just to 45 degrees. You're going to then bring that piece of wire over the top all the way down towards you until it's parallel. Loosen that grip on the pliers and swivel that jaw round until it's sat back on top. Then take this piece of wire underneath and away from you to a right angle. Then you can take your pliers out and you should have a nice neat loop. And we're going to just trim that off. And where we trim that is we use the flat side of the pliers, the cutters, and we're going to be trimming this bit here. So you want to have the flush side of the pliers as close to this stem here as you can get it, but it's this piece of wire that we're going to be cutting. And this often panics my students because they feel that they're going to be trimming off their entire loop. But have faith, just remember you want the flush piece as nice and flat against here, and then it's this piece that you're going to cut off. So give that a good squeeze, hold on to that piece so you don't ping it across the room. And then you can see you've got a nice loop. Now if yours is open like mine is there, you can just give that a little squeeze and just give that nice and shut. And obviously the closer you can get that and the better quality your flush cutters are, the less of a gap you're going to get there. So that's one loop, and now I'm going to show you a wrapped loop, and then I'll put it all together on a headpin to show you what that looks like with the bead in place. So we're going to make that loop again, and this is very important now to make sure you leave this space here too, because we're definitely going to need that to work with. So you're going to bend that away from you, bringing the wire over the top to its parallel, loosen the jaws and take that underneath and away. Now you're going to take that off and you're going to grip that and then take this piece of wire around, bending nice and firmly until you've got some nice neat coils. So if you've got a head pin, how does that look with a bead in place? So if you're making earrings or any kind of drop, it's important not to fill the entire head pin. You want to leave about half of it free. In this case it's not, I'm only using one bead, so it doesn't matter at all. So you're going to grip the wire just about 2 to 3 millimeters above that bead, and you're going to hold onto that bead and bend the pliers away from you. Bring that piece of wire all the way over down and then loosen that grip. And you may find your head pins are a lot tougher, so this bit gets a bit harder than it was with the wire. You're going to take that piece underneath and away from you to a right angle, as we did before. And there we go, you can see you've got your loop. So now I'm going to grip that with my flat nose pliers to grip across the top of the loop. And you can either use your fingers or pliers. I find that my hands are quite weak, clearly too much beading, and I just need a little bit extra grip. So I use a pair of the round nose pliers, right on the end of the pin, and I'm dragging that round. And that first wrap is the most important. You want that to be really secure. When you run out of oomph, just simply turn that over, readjust it, and then take it back round again. And I like to do that nice and slowly, and that will give you nice neat loops. And you're aiming for consistent wraps that sit next to each other on that stem. And just stopping and readjusting, keeping a nice grip with your left hand. And what you're aiming to do I think I've left a little bit too much space here, is just keep those wrap loops going all the way around. Those wraps, sorry, all the way around. These headpins are very soft. All the way around. A nice work hardened stiff headpin will give you a much better finish. These are not great headpins. Ideally you want a nice stiff headpin, and that's going to make your work more secure, but also makes everything look a lot neater. So just take those loops all the way down until you hit the bead, and then you can trim just like that. And if you get any extra bits poking out, you can just get hold of your headpin like that and fold it into place. So obviously you've got a really nice neat little looped charm there now, but it's not a huge amount of use unless it's onto something. So that's great if you're going to be joining lots of things together, but if you need to attach something to a headpin, to a charm bracelet or something that's already in place, let me show you how that might look. So again, I've got my little tiny bead. I'm going to make my loop as before. And place that into where I want it on the bracelet and just hook it into place. And I find that just holding that bead, let's try that with my other hand to help you out actually, sorry guys. So I hold it in my non-dominant hand. And just pinging, just sort of clip that into place like that. And then you just finish it off in exactly the same way as before. But what I do this time is I hold that upside down so that all the beads drop down and gravity helps us out before I then commence with my wrapping. In the same way as before, and then trimming. So that is how to make wrap loops. You'll find them really useful for all of your jewellery making designs and projects. So do follow me on YouTube for more great tips and videos, and happy beading.